past it and get back out there on the floor. Guys, Michael Rappaport will join us later in the show, and he will, of course, explain his side of the story. But first, really, Shannon, did the punishment fit here?
Yeah, I thought it was fair. Skip, that's along the lines of what we've seen other guys that utter slurs or what the NBA deemed as inappropriate language. And Kobe got a fine, Rondo got a fine, Myers Leonard got a fine. Although wasn't in the homophobic one, Myers Leonard was a racial, epithet. So for me, yeah, I'm good with that. $50,000 is the maximum allowable fine that the NBA can fine a player under the CBA. So I'm good with that. The only thing I didn't like was Kevin Durant's non-apology.
Yeah.
Skip, I'm sorry that people seen that language I use. That's not really what I want people to see and hear from me. But hopefully I can move past it and get back on the floor.
Yep.
I'm sorry I used that language. That's not how I talk. That's not what he said.
No.
I'm disappointed that you saw that I talk like this. The bigger question is, Skip, okay, what do these endorsers that pay Kevin Durant good money, what do they think about his comments? Because that's ultimately what it comes down to. I just don't get why you, I get, Skip, like I say, when you're comfortable, you get into a disagreement, you say things, and a lot of times what we do is that we get into an argument, Skip, we go to the thing that we feel will cut the deepest. What can we say, though? What is the most hurtful thing that we can say? Because I want this person to feel the anger and the fury that I'm feeling right now. So I'm going to say the most hateful thing that I can think of.
Yep.
Come on, Katie, we better than this, bro. I don't get it. Skip, I'm not going to DM somebody that constantly criticizes me. Why would I want to have a conversation? You've already let me know what you thought of me, be it it's your job or whatever. So why am I going to go back and forth with you? Why? I mean, I wouldn't expect for me to, if I DM someone, I'm having a conversation. I'm not talking about, oh, you this or you that. Well, I don't get the connection between these two. That's the most puzzling thing. And like I said, Michael Rappaport is coming on the show, and I'm going to ask him, Mike, what do you think was going to happen if you released these messages? Exactly what happened. It was going to be a firestorm.
Yep.
But that's the reason, Skip. People keep emails. People keep text messages. People keep voice messages. I don't have not one voicemail. I don't have one text message. I erase everything. What am I keeping it for? I know what you said. What, at some point in time you make me mad, I'm gonna throw it back up in your face and let somebody else see it? Nah. Come on. It was bad all the way around, but to make a long story short and a short story long, the punishment fit the crime. There was no crime, but Skip, you get what I'm saying. The punishment fit what he said and what the NFL what the NBA could actually do as far as the CBA. So I'm cool with it. And like he said, KD, hopefully we can move past this, but I just wish you had issued a better apology. Says, I'm sorry, guys, this is not the way I speak. I was wrong for this. Yep. And not say, I'm sorry that you saw it. You heard it. That's not an apology.
I so agree with you about the non-apology apology. That wasn't enough. I wanted to hear more from a man I have so much respect for as a basketball player. I still think he's the best player on the planet. We have not seen his basketball talent on the floor for a very long time. Yep. Maybe we will in the very near future.
Since February 13th.
Hamstring. But in this case, this is a very fine line, a very tricky line that we're dealing with here. DMs meant to be private.
Correct.
Made public.
Yes.
But they were made public. And I hearken back to the worst case of this. The most glaring example of this was obviously Donald Sterling, the former owner of the Clippers, made some very racist remarks in private to his then girlfriend that she made public.
Correct.
And it confirmed many people within the Clippers organization's suspicions about Donald Sterling's feelings about black people. But it confirmed them, and it cost Donald Sterling his basketball team.
Correct.
So here we go with the Kevin Durant $50,000 fine. And yet, Myers Leonard was suspended for a week. Now, he's gone for the rest of the season, so they just
said... The team suspended him, not the league, the team.
The team, but he did get a suspension.
Correct.
And yet, in that case, he's already had surgery and is out for the rest of the year, so he just couldn't come around the Heat facilities for a week. Not a big deal, but at least it demonstrated the depth of the Heat's issues with him and what he said.
Correct.
We're going to talk more about what he said in relation to Carlton Davis just in a few minutes here on the show. Here we go again. But in this case, I wanted to see Kevin suspended, even if you want to call it your basic wrist slap suspension, for a game or 2 games or even a week. He's out now anyway. It probably wouldn't have mattered. It would just have shown a little more. You could argue the Nets could have done that. The Nets said, starting with their new head coach, you know, that we all talk to him and we know where he stands and we feel good about blah, blah, blah. You know, like we had great conversations with him. Again, I'm looking forward, as you are, to talking to our Michael Rappaport, guy we have as a contributor on this show. And he's had lots of time to think about what happened, and he'll have maybe a different perspective on it. So can't wait to hear that side of that story, and we will cross-examine later in the show. But from my communications with Michael that night that it all hit the fan, it's Tuesday night going into our show on Wednesday, I believe that he was somewhere between feeling threatened and angry because Kevin had introduced the wife into it somehow, into the back and forth on DMs, and that really angered Michael. And he also felt somewhere between threatened and like there was an intimidation factor here because it was very threatening language. And it really made Kevin Durant look bad. And again, as much respect as I have for him on the court, I've lost off the court because he's got the thinnest skin of any superstar I've ever closely observed. And I've said that many, many times on this show, but that dates all the way back to his Oklahoma City days. And I've never understood it because he's so much better than this. He is so great. What does he care about what people say on Twitter or Instagram? In the end, what does he really care about what superfan Michael Rappaport says?
I think, Skip, you know, Samuel Jackson had a quote. He says, in order for me to value what your opinion, I have to care. Kevin Durant cares too much about what other people think of him.
And these are a lot of people he does not know on Twitter.
He's probably, a lot of these people that be atting him and stuff like that is never going to meet Kevin Durant.
Nope.
But he values. Skip, and I get it. Sometimes it bothers you when Skip, the old heads with a Barkley or some of the old heads. If Magic Johnson was to say something, Skip, these were all-time great players. Magic won championships with an MVP. So you're going to take what hold on. Damn. Magic Johnson said that. Let me give a second. Let me reevaluate some things.
Agreed.
But a guy that doesn't look, you're entitled to your opinion, but you're going to critique my game and say what? You would think that Kevin Durant would just keep on stepping, but for whatever reason, it bothers him. I think the thing at the end of the day, Skip, it comes back to LeBron. He said it. He said, if LeBron James is the GOAT, I went to his house and beat him twice. What does that make me? Nobody has really ever said Kevin Durant is a better player than LeBron James. Now, you might think it, but for the most part, LeBron is regarded as a better player than Kevin Durant, even though Kevin Durant beat him head-to-head.
He did.
So the validation that he thought he was going to get by winning championships and beating that guy to get it never came. So he's saying to himself, damn, what do I have to do to get the credit that I deserve?
Okay. So I've tried to read into Kevin's behavior, erratic behavior, reckless behavior. I've tried to read in Jordan-esque because what was Michael's MO? He would create feuds with people that didn't even exist. But those feuds that he created were with rival players or rival coaches. People who counted, people who mattered.
I think the thing is, Skip, sometimes I wish, but then I was like, hey, I was in that era too. If they'd have had social media. Because, Skip, we didn't have 24-hour news cycles like we have it now. And everybody that had a cell phone, that had internet, all of a sudden became an analyst or a columnist or an opinionist. They didn't have that. So it would have been very, very interesting to see had this transpired in the 80s and the 90s, where everybody has a camera phone and everybody could document what was going on and what was being said. How different would some of these guys have turned out to be?
Don't know. Great question. I just don't think Michael Jordan would have stooped to responding to some kid in Des Moines. I just don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. He has not demonstrated that kind of behavior post-career. But Kevin has from the start.
There's a reason why, Skip. He doesn't even have social media. So that's why he said, I can't even respond because I don't have social media. Jumpman, somebody else handles the Jumpman brand to his social media page. So he's like, I ain't going to even bother. No, I mean... It's just bad. Like I said, I just wish Kevin would have said, guys, I'm sorry for the language that I used. That's really not the person that I am.
Yeah.
And I hate that it became, I let my emotions get the best of me, and I went to a place